Why is it that many academics in Western universities are sympathetic to Islam as against Hinduism?
Yes. Yeah, that's a complicated story. So because of this anti-Christian animus, they tend to support everything that is against Christianity. So many atheists, anti-clericals.
No, is it because Islam is a brother of Christianity? Because both are
I'll come to that.
Sematic.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't cut this short. This is a long story. Let me first go into the word you used, namely Semitic, saying that both Christianity and Islam are Semitic. I'll answer every point you made, but so first I have to go into this, and this is an important point. You see, on that I really, really, really am critical of the Hindu usage of the word Semitic. Okay? Semitic really indicates a language family to which both Hebrew, the language of the Old Testament, and Arabic belong, right? And so they mean that word, Semitic, indicates something that is in common between Islam and Judaism and Christianity, but that has a special position, which I will also come to. But so they refer essentially to the idea that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam have a common basis. In fact, in the consciousness of the Hindus, Judaism is not there. There have been Jews in India, and all that Hindus know is that India was the only country where the Jews were never persecuted, which is good, which is very meritorious on the Hindu part, but which says little about the contents of Judaism. So ultimately, Judaism has something in common with Islam and Christianity, mainly this monotheism, the belief that there is only one God and that all other gods are false. Now, that has nothing to do with its being Semitic. That's just an accident of history. In fact, the very first monotheist that we know of was not Semitic. He was ancient Egyptian. Linguistically, he didn't belong to the Semitic group, but, ancient Egypt, namely the Pharaoh Akhenaten. You see, he believed in one God, though he identified that one God still with something physical, namely the sun. Anyway, so historically, it is very probable that this character Moses, whatever his name was someone who grew up at the court in Egypt and was influenced by this current, this absolutely primeval monotheism. And so then, the situation of the Hebrew people staying in Egypt for a while influenced the way that he formulated his monotheism. Anyway, so he started monotheism as a national religion for the Hebrew people. And of course, historically, it is not at all sure that they were monotheists from the beginning. Probably they were what religious scholars call henotheist, which means that you believe in one God, but not denying the existence of all the others. Okay, so they chose Yahweh, and then there was the rest. But gradually this radicalized and said that Yahweh is the only God and all the rest are false, are illusions. So that's monotheism. And so monotheism in full probably only came about after the exile of the Jewish people in Babylon in the 6th century BC. So you have that religion. Within that religion, there is a character whom we call Jesus. That's probably his real name. So he lived in the 1st century, and he was some kind of wandering healer, exorcist. It is obsolete to say he didn't exist. There clearly was a character that, satisfies this description. Some wandering healer, exorcist. Someone who had this primitive belief that diseases are caused by ghost possession. If some particular evil spirit takes possession of you, it manifests through some disease signs. And he really believed that. Like, for example, he thought that when an epileptic was brought to him and he lay hands on, that person was cured from epilepsy. The proof being that after having an epileptic attack, he woke up again. The attack was over. Now, that's what always happens with epileptic attacks. At some point, it's over. But then the day after, it starts again. So there is no cure. But you have the illusion of a cure. And especially as a wandering healer, you may get that impression. Because you don't see the patient, the day after when he gets the same seizure, and thereby shows that you have not healed him. But so Jesus had the illusion that he was a great healer. And so he may have attracted to himself this belief, about the biblically foretold character of the Messiah. So he thought that he was the Messiah, or his followers thought that he was the Messiah. We don't know much of the details, but at any rate, after his death or resurrection, ascension, the belief caught on that he was the Messiah. So, you see, he continues the Jewish religion because of the notion of the Messiah. But then he or his followers bring in all kinds of other things. You see, create a great distance from Judaism. Christianity is not just the daughter of Judaism, it's a wholly new religion. But they still have that idea that all the other gods, Shiva, Saraswati, and so on, they're false. We have to do something about that. We have to get Hindus out of their, very negative belief in all these gods. Is they should convert, and they should burn what they used to pray to. So that's the place of Christianity. But you can't call Christianity Semitic in practically any sense. You see, is totally removed from the Hebrew and has little to do with the Arabic religion that would follow, namely Islam. Anyway, now this term Semitic is very misplaced in several respects. It's not entirely linked to this Semitic language group. Monotheism is older than its appearance in the Hebrew and later the Arabic communities. Secondly, the word Semitic has a history in itself, namely in the 19th century. It was used first in Germany, everywhere, for specifically the Jews. And, when you mean in India Semitic, you mean mainly Islam and Christianity. And in theory, Judaism, but that is not part of the Hindu consciousness. Because of this history, it's very important here, at least strategically very important. If you use the word Semitic for the whole Western audience, this means, watch out, you see. This has something to do with the Nazis and so on, because the word Semitic means Jewish. It does not mean Muslim, right? Even though the Muslims, their Quran is in a Semitic language, Arabic, but the word Semitic does not refer to that. The word Semitic in the Western consciousness means Jewish, right? Whereas Hindus have little quarrel with the Jews. They may disagree on the theology, but the Jews are not out to convert the Hindus or something. They're not giving you any trouble. So most Hindus have no notion at all about the Jews. So this word Semitic should absolutely be avoided. Same with Abrahamic, you know, that has the same meaning. And that goes back, in fact, to an Islamic notion. It's the Muslims who say that Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all worship the same God. Now, you see, any Christian who knows his stuff will deny this. He will say, but Allah is a very different character from the God that we worship. And this goes back to the Islamic notion of the religions of the book, meaning biblical and Quranic, right? Muhammad imagined himself to be in the line of the Jewish prophets. And so he thought that he was continuing this, whereas the Jews themselves rejected him. They saw that he was not part of it. So this is an Islamic notion, this idea that, oh yeah, you shouldn't be against the Muslims because they worship the same God as you Christians. Well, I mean, these are very interesting ideological evolutions, but, you know, stay away from that. As Hindus, you have nothing to do with it, and make your life simple. You see, this has nothing to do with it. This association with the Semitic languages is unimportant, is partly wrong. You should use the term that indicates the contents of your problem, namely prophetic monotheism. You see, it is the monotheism that you have trouble with, and so leave out Semitic.
No.
Right.